mind.
How does he make us do these things?
Um, I don't know. I'm getting free childcare for 15 minutes, so I'll take it.
Ooh la la. Um, so we're gonna do our morning Devo, our morning reading, our
Mhm.
Melody Beatty language of letting go. Are we on air?
Huh?
I think we're on air.
It
It's
says live.
okay. All
But
right.
it's,
Well,
yeah.
do you want to read or do you want me to read?
Why don't you read half? I'll read half.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Feeling. Oh boy. This codependency stuff is like,
It's like as if they're letting us do this, but we'll see.
okay, it's okay to have feelings and feel our feelings, all of them. Years into recovery, we may still be battling with ourselves about this issue. Of all the prohibitions we've lived with, this one is potentially the most damaging and the most long lived. Many of us need to shut down the emotional part of ourselves to survive certain situations. We shut down the parts of us that feel anger, sadness, fear, joy, and love. We may have turned off our sexual or sensual feelings too. Many of us lived in systems with people who refused to tolerate our emotions. We were shamed or reprimanded for expressing feelings, usually by people who were taught to repress their own.
But times have changed. It is okay now for us to acknowledge and accept our emotions. We don't need to allow our emotions to control us. Neither do we need to let rigidity repress our feelings. Our emotional center is a valuable part of us. It's connected to our physical well being, our thinking, and our spirituality. Our feelings are also connected to that great gift, instinct. They enable us to give and receive love. We are neither weak nor deficient for indulging in our feelings. It means we're becoming healthy and whole. The prayer for today is today I will allow myself to recognize and accept whatever feelings pass through me. Without shame, I will tune into the emotional part of myself.
When I went to the codependency rehab, they call it now, every morning, first of all, breakfast was at 7:15, which is way too early for me. Um, but every morning we had to like go in a group and we had to say, or no, we had to do it before and then we had to share it in the group. And so we had to say, how are we feeling physically, emotionally, and spiritually and mentally? And then on the wall, they had a chart of all the feelings, like the little faces, not emojis, but like actual pictures of faces with like the feelings. And it was true. Like people have a really hard time identifying what they're feeling.
Hmm.
Um, and I say people like me. um, but it was a good practice actually to like wake up and think, how am I actually feeling physically?
Hmm.
Oh, I'm actually really sore. Like recently I realized I actually wake up sore every single morning.
Hmm.
And then I finally sit down, like, I think there's something wrong with my mattress. Like, I don't think I'm comfortable. And I've been ignoring that for however many years.
Yeah. Well, I think that like feelings, I mean, I it's funny because I think that I would say like normally, like even like before I've gotten into this recovery process, like really look into codependency, I would be like, oh yeah, I'm totally in tune with my feelings. Like I feel a lot of things. I cry a lot. I get angry. It's not that I'm not doing the feelings. I think it's that my feelings are out of whack. And I mean, I think sometimes I have a hard time trusting my feelings actually. Um, and I don't really know, I'm not really at the end of that, like knowing what to do with that. But I
Mm,
think that like I'm trying to believe um, that as I submit more and go through this recovery process, and the promise at the end is that I'll be made better, I'll be made whole, I'll grow. My hope is, I think, in it is like I'll be able to understand how to process my feelings and to trust them and to be okay with them, but also not let them rule me because that was something that I would let happen. But I've started
mhm.
to realize that there was more to it than just feelings that was going on, I think.
Right. Yeah, I love that description of like being out of whack because it's true. I didn't have balance. I like would let things go until I would explode or I would, stuff certain feelings and then over feel like in other ways or um, shut down certain parts that
Mm,
wasn't safe to be vulnerable. It was like I could be angry, but I couldn't be vulnerable. And I think lately,
mm,
because I've been pretty steadily doing this all of 2020, and I think lately the biggest thing for me is I can pause. So I feel like feelings don't just like control me, like where I have a reaction and then all of a sudden I'm just like, it like bubbles up and I can like my skin feels hot and like I just react would be
yeah.
how it would be before. But now I feel like I can now I've noticed that I can feel something and then pause and ask myself, like, what's happening right now? What's
Mm,
going on right now? Why is my body reacting the way that it is? Oh, something's hard or something's, and it's usually comes from a place of fear or insecurity for me.
mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think that like one of the things as I was doing my trying to do my devos this morning. I think I'm like halfway through a coffee. Before I got on this, I was like, I don't even know what I look like. But as I was like journaling this morning, I was thinking about um, my prayer. I think today was like just exactly what you were kind of saying of just like I want to be able to pause. I want to be able to experience just like God's serenity and like when things creep up because things will creep up. Like we all have our stuff, we all live in our worlds, we all have our troubles, and I think that like as they creep up, my hope would be that I can actually like stop and like and just like stop whatever it is I'm doing. Maybe I will continue doing what I need to do. Maybe I won't. But it has to do, I think, with just like asking God to just like, is this okay? Am
Mhm.
I okay? Or can you help me with this? Or um, stuff like that. And I think that it does. I think it easily draws into feelings. But
Do you think that reacting when I instinctually or like really quickly react on my emotions or on my feelings, I almost wonder if it creates like a distance between what's actually happening so that I don't have to sit in it and really process it.
mm,
That the extreme emotion gave me an opportunity to like distance myself from what was really going on or from what was going on and then have this extreme reaction, either super happy or super frustrated or really angry or whatever.
hmm.
And then the feelings take over and I don't actually have to deal with what's going on.
And do you think that that's a form of control for yourself, so you don't have to feel?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably like a defense mechanism,
Mm,
that I don't even realize is happening. But a defense mechanism starts as like a way to cope, and then a defense mechanism eventually begins to like keep me separate from people around me and from the world around me.
hmm. Yeah, and so I think that like for me it's hard because I want to not think that feelings are bad because I've like you were saying like I've
Mhm.
used feelings in the past for and without even realizing but using feelings and reacting to feelings and having so many that it felt so intense and so I wanted to reject them and I wanted to just not be that. And so I understand that part of just being like sometimes we shut it down. Like sometimes we're like, you know what? Like that's just I'm too scared to go there. I'm too scared to get angry because I'm scared of what I'm going to do. Um
Mhm.
and so
Crying looks weak. If
yeah, and
I do it, then I feel weak and I feel like I'm disqualified from whatever I'm going to say because I'm crying.
mhm. And also, we're two women sitting here talking about emotions and feelings. Right away, I'm just like, oh, like any dude is gonna tune right off of this because they're like, oh, great, two women talking about feelings. Goodbye. But it's so sad because, like, I think that that has to. There's some truth to it in that it's sad because, yeah, I think that just to react off of feelings is not helpful and it's scary for everyone. So, like, but I think that I also experienced the other side of things, especially growing up, was like um, where it says like being shamed or reprimanded for my feelings, especially as a teenager. My feelings were totally out of whack. I didn't really realize I had them until then. And then it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do with all these? And I had a lot. And
Right.
so, but I think that that's something that I guess I hope to do is I'm trying to teach our kids how to feel. I'll ask my son who's 4, I'll be like, okay, like what are you feeling right now? Like instead of like shoving someone, instead of like screaming or doing something like having a meltdown, like what are you feeling right now? And he'll say, I'm feeling sad inside or I'm feeling this inside. And it's just like I hope that I can help train my kids because I didn't really learn how to do that. I didn't learn how to identify my feelings. And I think that that would have been so beneficial to be like, this is what I'm feeling.
Mhm.
I don't have to freak out. And it's okay. I'm human. I'm going to have feelings. I'm not going to just try to get rid of them either.
And scientists, like they've actually been doing. I keep hearing podcasts, or like there's a book that came out about feelings and emotions and naming them. And so the scientists are saying like that the more language you have for your feelings, the more words that you can use to describe your feelings.
Mm.
Oh, my tree lights just went out. I heard pop and they went out. The more language you can describe to describe a feeling, that actually helps you process it, and your body and I guess it's like you can actually like absorb and get like express the feeling and get rid of it. And so through language and just even like being able to describe what's happening releases it.
Mm.
And then it puts it to bed, basically, is what they were saying. I was like,
Mm.
oh, so interesting. That just actually talking about it, science proves that just talking about it is what needs to happen.
So I guess I don't know how long. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, okay, so I feel like we're mostly talking about, we'll call them more negative feelings or like icky feelings, like stuff,
The hard
not
ones.
the hard ones.
The hard ones. They're not
Would you
bad. They're
treat,
hard.
would you treat the happy feelings the same way? Like, would you treat like poof, goodbye, I want to talk to you? I mean, I think it's good to talk about what those are about, but I want to stay with those feelings.
But it's not even about poof goodbye.
Oh,
Like, so being able to describe in grief, being able to describe like grief and what it feels like and what you're experiencing allows your body to experience the grief, and your mind can process it or something like that. And they had like this really scientific description for
okay.
what I'm talking about that I don't remember. I just remember them saying like it actually lets you be in it. And so,
Mm,
for a child who's experiencing a death, to sit with them and be able to let them explain what they're feeling allows them to like fully experience it and then be present in it, because it's totally not even about poof goodbye. And I think that's the problem with feelings, is that we've always tried to like get rid of the hard stuff, get rid of the negative feelings, like make them go away.
right.
This, it's too uncomfortable. Let's put this away. And
Mm,
scientists are saying like, no, actually, we need to be able to sit in them.
yeah.
And so, yeah, feel like I'm just at the beginning process of that too. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting. I have no idea how long we've been talking, but there's our morning reading.
No, I
Thanks.
feel like that was a good ending. Very good. Sit in your emotions, sit in your feelings. It's okay. Tell someone about them. Record yourself and put it on the internet.
All right. Have a great day.
All
I
right.
hope you
Bye.
drink a hot coffee.
I gotta go get another one. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Bye, everyone.